It gives us great pleasure. We're being joined by Anand Mahindra, Chairman and MD of the Mahindra Group. Thank you so much for being with us. Chanda Kochhar with us as well from ICICI Bank. Chandaji, thank you so much for being with us. Any thoughts that you might have for us on what we've been doing the entire day, which is trying to figure out just how we can make India a much cleaner place? How can we do Swachh India? Okay, we've just lost the line to Chanda Kochhar. So, Mr. Mahindra, why don't I throw that question to you? And before I do that, NDTV was nominated by Priyanka, who just left. Information for both you and for Ronnie is that NDTV would like to nominate both of you as our nominees for taking Swachh Bharat Abhiyan forward.
So now we have to do a telethon as well?
You can do the telethon, or you could find other things.
You have to go one step higher.
But
well, if the marathon man or the telethon man, Mr. Bachchan, joins us, we'll be happy to do it again.
Amazing, amazing.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Anand. It's always a joy to have
Mr.
people
Bachchan,
like you contributing to this cause.
Thank you.
It's been a lovely experience.
I believe you've been here since 9 a.m.
Yeah, by 8 o'clock.
he hasn't taken a 5 minutes break.
Correcting the teleprompter and everything.
I hope he took a toilet break.
Yeah.
That did happen. With the amount of conversation about toilets all through the day, that pressure has been there. So yes. So Ronnie, let me just see if Chanda Kochhar can hear me now. Ma'am, we were just asking you for your thoughts and ideas on Clean India.
Your voice was breaking, so I could hear a little bit of your question, but not the entire one.
So just your thoughts on how do we make India a cleaner place?
Well, I think creating consciousness is the most important thing, and I'd like to applaud the Prime Minister for first not just starting this initiative, but thereby spreading consciousness. But beyond that, I believe that we all have to own up responsibility. We talk of the government playing its role, but I think it's equally the role of the private sector to do whatever we can to take this consciousness and this initiative forward. And then finally, I believe that in our day-to-day lives, we have to follow this principle and make sure everybody follows this principle. So it is a humongous effort that we all have to put in, whether it's the government, whether it's the private sector, and whether it's the synergy amongst all of us, and with every individual becoming conscious about this fact.
I just, one of the issues, Chanda Kochhar, we find is that people in India, the attitude towards cleanliness is, it's either beneath us, it's for some lower caste or lower class person to do, or it's above us and the government should do it. How do we change that? One of the suggestions that have come up actually from a friend of ours who runs a project called Project Y for challenged children, the toilets were really in bad shape. Then they got the teachers to start cleaning the toilets and the students followed. Can every CEO in this country take a pledge that they'll break this above us and beneath us barrier and clean the toilets in their office once a year at least? Every CEO. And we'll name and list and your report card.
Actually, what you said, is absolutely correct. Yeah, we all think that cleanliness is either somebody else's job, and we all crib about it, but we never look at it as our own responsibility. The way I have looked at it when I started this Abhiyan, we launched it about a month ago. But I said that it's not just enough to do one cleaning one day and talk about it. What I have done is I've actually laid out a 360-day campaign to say that every day, one branch, a different branch of ICICI will take part in this Clean India campaign and will clean the area around their branch. Now, this is not just about people therefore cleaning the area, but according to me, this spreads the message to so many more within our organization. It spreads the message across the geography of India. And every day, if at least 20 more people are participating in different part of India, I think it's just creating that much more consciousness. So it is for all of us to see how we can make this message much wider, how we
Right.
can involve more of our people, how we can create not just consciousness, but actually get them active towards it.
Right.
Mr. Mahindra?
One of the reasons, Pranay, I hastened to appear on this show once you invited me was because this has been a topic which has been like a ghost in the room in this country.
Yes.
Everybody knows it's there. Nobody wants to name the ghost. And I caught a little bit of your section on live streaming on my iPad while coming here. And I believe in your teenage years of wisdom, you in fact named the ghost. And you said that what we need is to make toilets.
For women, and they laughed and laughed, and I still feel the pain actually,
Well,
being laughed at in front of the Prime Minister.
no, I think, well, this Prime Minister, speaking of Prime Ministers, named the ghost. So in a sense, we have already made an enormous amount of progress. That's why we're here. We are all, in a sense, naming the ghost. Toilets have come out of the closet, so to speak. Not the water closet, but the proverbial closet. And I think that's half the battle won. Then I think the basic thing is that all of us have to figure out that it's up to us as well. I think you've been saying that all day to everyone, that everyone, सबकी भूमिका है इसमें, इस अभियान में आप कहते चले आ रहे हैं मेरे ख्याल से सारे दिन. So I also want to just join in, and I remember I met Smriti Irani, and she was exhorting me to do something. So we decided to do something in the group, and then she got after me saying, you should announce this. So I can't think of a better place than your show to announce this, but we have made a plan to build 5,000 toilets, 1,000 blocks of 5 toilets each. The budget is going to be 30 crores, 23 to build the toilets.
Wow, that's fabulous.
30 crores.
And another topic that you've been referring to all day, 23 is the budget, 23 and something for the toilet construction. And we are budgeting 6 crores for 1 year to maintain them and to transfer the ability to maintain them,
Right.
which I think is the
That's
more
crucial,
important part.
Crucial.
We spoke about that.
Fabulous.
So you can add that to your list if you like, Vikram.
30
Fabulous.
crores. I'm just sort of, somebody needs to do the math and totaling it up, because I have to say the sort of pledges and commitments, Pranay, we've got in this particular telethon
Fabulous.
are quite off the charts. The
Way
bar
beyond
was
our
started the minute, Rakesh walked inside and RB made his first commitment. It's been right off the charts, so it's really good to hear. Thank you so much, and
No, the crucial
keep on
thing is
coming and
that
filming it.
maintenance part, because very often the government of India makes a toilet, but then they just, become filthy. There's no maintenance. So it's crucial, that bit, and I think one has to learn from this.
But you have been discussing this, and I think, Ronnie, I heard you talk about ownership.
Yeah.
And I think there was some discussion about it shouldn't be a freebie. I completely agree with that. You said even without the freebie, you can transfer ownership. I think there has to be some kind of cost, and to be honest, frankly, there has to be a disincentive as well.
Okay.
It was not for nothing that Lee Kuan Yew imposed a fine for littering. Now, maybe this is too poor a country for having a fine, but the fact is, and I don't know whether this has come up today, but there is an act, an MSW Act, a Municipal Solid Waste Management Act of 2000, which in fact prescribes what has to be done and the penalties for not following it by municipalities. There is a Right to Education Act, which has stipulated that every school will have toilets, separate one for girls. So frankly, what we have to tell the Prime Minister is that what he really has to do, number one, is simply enforce these acts. So those acts haven't been enforced. I don't know whether this discussion came up. Corporates will do their thing,
but I think
enforcement of the existing act has to be done. And that's going to be half the battle won.
All right, that's a really interesting session. Chandaji, any final thoughts from you before you leave us?
No, I think I agree entirely that it's not just the creation of the toilets, but maintenance of those toilets, which is equally important. And therefore, we need to build an ecosystem where we can actually train people how to maintain those toilets, because that is what is going to make this whole project sustainable. And of course, as I said, create consciousness amongst people that cleanliness and sanitation is very, very important.
May I just say something, Chandaji? This is Amitabh. As you know, I'm your brand ambassador for ICICI. Creatively, is there something that in your next creation for the promotion of the bank, can we include this element in the creativity so that both purposes are solved. Design a creative campaign
I
which
think
includes
that's a very,
this
very good
aspect
thought.
as well. And it just came to me while I was talking and listening to what Anand was saying. Creatively include this aspect. And there are many good creative people in our industry who design such beautiful campaigns. And connect the bank with the issue of Swachh Bharat.
Absolutely, that's a very good thought. I think, as I said earlier, I believe that we have to spread this message across as many people as we can. And I thought of doing it internally by taking it to various branches. But as you are saying, we can actually connect many more people through this. And let's work together on this. We'll make something.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chanda.
All right, Chanda ji, thank you. Thank you so much for having joined us. Thank you.
Can I just ask both of you, you're doing 5,000 toilets, public toilets. Have you thought of doing it inside each person's home so they own the responsibility?
To be honest, I'm doing them
In schools. That's
and
great.
We're focusing on schools
That's great.
where there is a need for the girl child to have toilets.
Excellent. That's absolutely the focus area, actually.
Right.
But this concept of public toilet versus having one in everybody's home, that needs to be studied, which actually works out better in the long run.
So what did you find in your campaigns in the villages? What have you found, Ronnie?
The one where you have the ownership with the per home, and that does not take you away from the school, because that's an absolute
school is
mandatory one. That's a
different
given across the board. But I think one per home is where we're going.
Is where we are going. Okay.
Because again, as I think I mentioned earlier, let's think 5 years and 10 years down the line. The minute you have it accessible, aspirations change. 2 years later, it's outdated. So why don't we just leapfrog and figure out where the whole
Like
world
this
is
wonderful
moved forward.
lady, inspiring lady who sold a Mangasutra for a toilet.
But
when
for
you
her
asked
own
her
toilet.
public, she said that won't really work.
No.
In her home, she'll look after it, everybody look after it.
And you ask them on the ground, that's what they will always say. They want to have that sense of belonging for today and for 3 years from now.